Geeks and repair lovers, welcome to another episode from TEKDEP.com. In this episode, you will learn on how to replace and remove and install a new battery for your 2016-2017 MacBook Pro Touch Bar. This is a 15-inch MacBook Pro that is also famous for A1707 model. After removing the screws from the back case, if you do have a suction cup, you can use that to elevate the back case. Also, you will need a spudger and plastic tool in order to remove the battery and separate the glue from the chassis. And using your spudger, you will be opening the back case, just to slide it in between the space that you made happen using that suction cup, and pull the case toward upward, and then you need to pull it toward yourself. Now it's time to disconnect the battery to make sure this battery replacement would be safe. And obviously, because you're removing the battery, you must disconnect the battery. Now you need to unlock the mechanism that's holding that little flex cable. And after unlocking the mechanism, pull the flex cable very cautiously out. These are very easy to damage, so you want to be very careful. Using your T4 screwdriver, now remove the one screw that holds the connection between the main board and the battery board. And pull away the connection. Good. Now it's time to remove the bracket that is holding the trackpad flex cable using your T3 screwdriver. It only has 2 screws. Gently remove the bracket. And using your plastic tool, disconnect the flex cable and move it away from the battery. Using your T4 screwdriver, you need to remove those 2 screws that holding the battery board to the laptop chassis. So using your flat plastic tool, you would need to basically separate the battery from the laptop chassis that has been glued by Apple by a very strong adhesive. But have some patience and try not to poke the battery or bend the battery, because that could be dangerous. So take your time. If you need to use some force, fine, but make sure your force is going toward separating the battery and not bending or poking the battery. The battery, you want to work your way from the corners and where is accessible without damaging any of the components around it. And you see the adhesive right there that is holding the battery. Is this strips of adhesive double-sided tapes that is used to attach this battery to the chassis. But again, it's not terribly hard to remove it. You see me how much force I'm putting, and it's not a little of it. But yeah, it is completely doable. I know a lot of people, they use adhesive remover. I never use it. I kind of don't like using liquid around battery or my machine, but I did hear some success story, and some of you guys left me comments in other videos that you guys used adhesive remover and it was a success, and good for you. Nice. So I'm almost getting this done, and the battery is all the adhesive is now removed. Now it's time to remove all the logic board and the fan screws. You need the T3 here to remove the two T3 screws, and the rest are T4. And once that is done, that will let you loose the logic board a little bit in order to make way for the battery cables that they are laying underneath of the logic board, and you can slide them out slowly and cautiously from underneath of the logic board. And you want to do it the way that you're not going to exert any sort of pressure to the logic board or bend anything, because that would be the worst thing you can do. So make sure you're creating enough space and you're taking your time to slide out the battery cables in order to completely release the battery from the machine and make space for the new battery. So let's see how that goes. Moment of truth. I'm elevating the logic board about few millimeters, and just trying to pull the battery cables away from the chassis, sliding them out, creating some space, but not more than what I need, because that way I may damage the logic board. Now the battery is completely freed. So this is the old battery that has replaced now indication on the system and needed to be replaced. So here is a new replacement battery that we're going to use in this system. You can find this battery in TEKDEP.com in our website, and you can actually find all the tools and parts for almost every Mac computer, from logic board to batteries and tools and screwdrivers. And one thing I wanted to say that I did not remove those adhesive strip from the chassis. I know some of you guys like doing that, but I'm not finding any benefit to that. The battery is sticking very nicely. And now I'm gonna just elevate the logic board again and try to make some way for the cable and slide it underneath of the logic board the way that it's supposed to sit, and very nicely make sure nothing is out of place, and the battery screw holes that they are in the battery board are aligned with the screw holes of the chassis. And using the T4 screwdriver, put those two screws in. So now that that is out of the way, just make sure the battery is completely and solidly stick to the chassis. Just pressure all over and make sure it is making good contact and the battery is already attached to the chassis firmly. Using your T4 screwdriver, now it's time to put back the logic board screws. The one are around the fan and other areas of the logic board. They use T4, and there is two more that are closer to the battery that they use T3, and I will show you in a moment. the T3 that we're gonna put. Make sure the logic board is sitting correctly in the position and it's not out of place when you're tying the screws, because that will cause some damage somewhere. So now bring down the battery connector that is connecting the logic board to the battery board, and use the T4 screw to tie the connection. And next is time to put that little flex cable that is for the battery to the logic board and slide it in. Make sure the mechanism is unlocked. Once it's slide in, you can lock the mechanism very easily, very cautiously. Sometimes the mechanism get out of the place, and putting it back, it's a nightmare. Time to connect the trackpad via the flex cable to the logic board. Put that flex cable back and make sure it's aligned with the connection. Exert some pressure, it will snap in, and that will indicate that it's connected correctly. And using the bracket and the two T3 screws, you will secure it. And last but not least, put back the battery board cover in place. One thing actually I should have done differently would have been to take that plastic before tying my trackpad flex cable, but it's no big deal. I'm just gonna take it out. Easy as that. And last, let's put the cover back in. Make sure you are sliding the cover in the way that you pulled toward yourself when you did remove it. Now you gotta push in order to have it connected. It's kind of tricky, but I'm sure you can get it done. Using your P5 screwdriver, put back the 6 screws that are holding the back case, and after that you should be all set if everything is done the right way. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on how to replace your A1707 battery on your MacBook Pro 2016-2017 model. Hope it was beneficial, and please like and subscribe to our channel for more video like this one. If you guys need any battery, tools, or parts for your computers, for your MacBook, make sure to visit TEKDEP.com. We ship everything from United States, and we actually ship globally too. Once again, thank you so much, and hope to see you guys on the next episode. Good luck.